Hi my dear students, welcome back to Gurudeva online class. Myself Siddesh, 7th social science teacher. Dear student, in the last class we had discussed one of the very important lesson from the history part, that Vijayanagara Empire. In that lesson we had discussed the few important points. So let us once recall what we were discussed in the last class. In that we had discussed when the Vijayanagara dynasty was established, where it was established, who were the founder of this dynasty, and what was the emblem of Vijayanagara Empire, and what were the four important dynasty who ruled the Vijayanagara Empire, and what were the achievements of Devaraya II and as well as Krishna Devaraya. So today class we are going to discuss the other important points. Those were the first one, administration, social status, economic status, religious and literature. So let us discuss one by one. In the first one, administration. The Vijayanagara dynasty, it has given more contribution in the field of administration. The Vijayanagara Empire, it adopted decentralized administration. It means here the power, it was distributed to the different people like minister, king and as well as leader also. For the administrative purpose, the overall dynasty, they were going to divide into the four important parts. The first one, the provinces. The provinces divided into region, the region divided into cities, the cities divided into villages. So these were the four important administration system of the Vijayanagara Empire. And also here the 1/6 of land revenue was collected by the farmers, and with this the other important sources of income, those were trade tax, profession tax, road tax, fair tax and export tax. So these were the important tax collected by the people. And also here the kings more respective were the managing the provinces, and also here the hereditary officers were managing the village administration. But the king, whatever he was going to give the decision, that is the final. The king is ultimate, and also the king was supreme where in the judiciary, and the regional officers were dispensing the justice in provinces. And also the Vijayanagara Empire, it has a four important army division. Those were infantry, cavalry, elephant and cannon. So these were the four important army division of Vijayanagara Empire. And also the one of the very important attraction of Vijayanagara Empire, that they import the Arabian horses. So this was about the administration of Vijayanagara Empire. Let us discuss what was the social system of Vijayanagara Empire. So during the period of Vijayanagara Empire, there were many important social evils practiced by the Vijayanagara people. So let us discuss what were the important social evils practiced by the Vijayanagara people. Those were the first one, child marriage, the second one, sati system, Devadasi system, monogamy and polygamy. So these were the few important social evils practiced by the Vijayanagara people. And what is the meaning of sati system? Sati system means a widow in the sense who lost her husband. A widow threw herself onto her husband funeral pyre. So this system we can call as the sati system. And the next one, Devadasi system. Devadasi system means a girl in her pre-puberty period was dedicated to worship and service God. That system we can call as the Devadasi system. And monogamy and polygamy. So these two social evils practiced by the only king and rich people. The polygamy means having more than one wife or husband at the same time. That system you can call as the polygamy. And also during the period of Vijayanagara Empire, women were respected by the society, and also they were celebrated the two important festivals. Those were the first one Deepavali and the second one Dasara. These were the two important festivals celebrated by the Vijayanagara people. So this was the status about the social of Vijayanagara Empire. Let us discuss what was the economical status of Vijayanagara Empire. As you know that, my dear student, the agricultural, it was the main occupations of Vijayanagara Empire. Then what were the important crops we can see during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty? Those were rice, maize, sugarcane and cotton. So these were the a very important crops we can see during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty. And also the kings also they encouraged the agricultural through they built the tanks and wells also. And the Vijayanagara empire they had trade link with the other country also. Then what are the important things export and import from the Vijayanagara dynasty? First one, export. There were many things they are going to export to the other countries. Those were rice, cotton, cloths, iron, diamonds, sugarcane, musk, sandal and spices items. So these were the important things exported by the Vijayanagara empire. Then what were the important things imported by the Vijayanagara dynasty? Those were ores, silk cloths, makmal cloths. So these were the important things imported by the Vijayanagara dynasty. And also during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty we can see the important trading center or forts. Those were Batkal, Honavar, Mangaluru. These were a very important trading center we can see during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty. And also the diamonds, it was one of the international business center during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty. And also the Vijayanagara kings, they were going to use the golden coin also. The golden coins were in use and pictures of gods and goddesses were etched on these coins. So this was the economic status of Vijayanagara dynasty. Let us discuss what were the literature contributions of Vijayanagara empire. The Vijayanagara kings, they have given more contribution in the field of literature. During the period of Vijayanagara empire, the three important languages, those were Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada, developed immensely. And also the one of the very important king of Vijayanagara empire is named Krishna Devaraya. The Krishna Devaraya also he encouraged the Telugu literature also. Because of this, the Krishna Devaraya he got a title that Andhra Bhoja. And also the Krishna Devaraya himself is a great poet and he has written the few important books also. Those were the first one Amukta Molya, Jambavati Kalyana and Rasamanjari. So these were the a very important books written by the Krishna Devaraya. During the period of Sri Krishna Devaraya, there were many poets adorned in his palace. There were 8 famous scholars called Ashta Diggajas. Among those, the few important are the first one Allasani Peddanda, Tenali, Nandi Timmanna, Srinatha, Pingalli Suranna, Tenali Ramakrishna. So these were the a few important Ashta Diggajas we can see during the period of Vijayanagara empire in the Krishna Devaraya palace. With this, during the period of Vijayanagara empire, there were many poets. They have written a different books. Let us discuss which were the important poets and books we can see during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty. Those were the first one Vidyaranya. The Vidyaranya he has written 2 important books. The first one Shankara Vijaya. The next one Sarva Darshana Sangraha. The next one Sayanacharya. The Sayanacharya he has written 2 important books. The first one Vedartha Prakasha, Ayurveda Sudhanidhi, and Ganga Devi. Ganga Devi she has written Madhura Vijayam and Prauda Devaraya. The Prauda Devaraya he has written Sudhanidhi. So this was one of the a very important famous drama which was written by the Prauda Devaraya. And the next one Krishna Devaraya. The Krishna Devaraya also he has written 3 important books. The first one Jambavati Kalyana from Sanskrit, Madalasa Charitam and Rasamanjari. So these were the 3 important books which are written by the Krishna Devaraya. And also the one more important poets Kumara Vyasa. The Kumara Vyasa he has written Gadigina Bharata. And Chamarasa. Chamarasa he has written Prabhulinga Leela. And Bhima written Basava Purana. And the next one Ratnakara Varni. Ratnakara Varni he has written Bharatesha Vaibhava. And one more important poets Lakkana Dandesha. The Lakkana Dandesha he has written Shiva Tattva Chintamani. So these were the important poets we can see during the period of Vijayanagara empire. This was the literature contribution of Vijayanagara dynasty. Yes, let us discuss the one more important contribution from the Vijayanagara dynasty, that religious harmony. As you know that the Vijayanagara kings, they had a religious tolerance. They encouraged the all religions, Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Jains and Vaishnava also. During the period of Vijayanagara Empire, there was one of the very important ambassador, Barbos, who visited Vijayanagara during the reign of Krishnadevaraya, stated that any Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu or person of any religion can live happily in Vijayanagara kingdom. During the period of Devaraya, he solved the problems which were arised between the Jainas and Vaishnavas. So this we can see one of the very important inscription, that Sravana Belagola inscription. So this was about the religious harmony of Vijayanagara Empire. Let us discuss what were the contributions of art and sculpture. The Vijayanagara kings, they have given more contribution in the field of art and sculpture also. During the period of Vijayanagara dynasty, there was one of the very important ambassador. His name Percy Brown. The Percy Brown, he visited to Vijayanagara dynasty and also he stated a few words by the observing of monuments, temples, sculpture, that art and sculpture of Vijayanagara was evolutionary form of Dravidian style. So this was stated by the Percy Brown. And also, as you know that during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty, there were many monuments, temples and idols also established, and the temples built with the strong granite rocks. And also the Vijayanagara temples, it has their own future also. Let us discuss what are the important features of Vijayanagara temple. The first one, high tower. The second one, very wide marriage hall. The third one, meeting hall. The fourth one, spring pavilions. So these were the four important features of Vijayanagara temple. And during the period of Vijayanagara empire, there were many temples established. Let us discuss what are the important temples we can see during the period of Vijayanagara kingdom. Those were Virupaksha temple, Ajararama Swami temple, Vitala Swami temple, Krishna Swami temple, Kamala Mahal and Sringeri Vidya Shankara temple. So these were the a few important temples established during the period of Vijayanagara kingdom. And also the Vijayanagara kings, they not only established a temple in Vijayanagara itself, and also they established many temple other places also, like Kalahati, Srishaila, Tirupati, Chidambaram, Srirangam and Kumbhakondam. In these places we can see Vijayanagara art and sculpture also. With that, there were few important monolith stone sculpture also we can see in Vijayanagara empire. Those were the stone chariot, idols of Narasimha and Ganapati illustrated. So these were the a few important monolithic stone sculpture we can see in Vijayanagara kingdom. The one more important temple, that Lepakshi temple, called Shaiva temple Ajanta. It has sketches of Shiva Purana of Vijayanagara period. On the roof of the Virupaksha temple, marriage hall, scene of Dashavatara and Girija Kalyana were carved. So this was also a very important temples which was established during the period of Vijayanagara dynasty. The Vijayanagara kings, they have given more contribution for the music also. The one of the very important music, that Karnataka music. In that Carnatic music, we can see the famous two important poets. Those were Kanakadasa and Purandaradasa. This was the art and sculpture contributions of Vijayanagara empire. Dear student, this is the lesson of Vijayanagara empire. Dear student, the today class we had discussed what was the administration of Vijayanagara empire, what was the social and economical system of Vijayanagara empire, and what were the contributions of Vijayanagara empire in the field of literature, religious and art and sculpture. We will meet in the next class. Bye my dear students.